We're here today in Manningtree, just in North Essex, looking at a couple of projects that our guys are installing today. Two barns, replacing a couple of old steel frame barns. We've got nods to the old steel barn with the curved roofs and the zinc cladding on the roof. That ties in with the window colour, and there's a couple of nice details with huge corner windows, Velfac sliding doors, and some of the interesting ways that we seal Velfac products into the building to achieve high levels of airtightness. Let's go and have a look and see what the guys are doing. So we've got quite an unusual colour here, which is RAL 7043 Traffic Grey B. I don't think we've done a job in this colour before, but it's really nice. It's been chosen to suit the cladding system. It matches really nicely with the standing seam roof system as well. So choosing colours that minimise the palette on the building is a really good idea, we find. It just gives a level of class to the aesthetic. So like a lot of our projects, there's a number of fairly complex details on this job, particularly with the reveals here. The external reveals, the contractors fitted aluminium pressings so that we can fit the window into the opening and seal between the window and the frame. With the Velfac system, it's a little bit unusual in that you can't bring your cladding materials up to the face of the window. So all these elements need to be considered well in advance of the order, which is one thing that we really do, I think, quite effectively, is that liaison with the contractor at the start to make sure that everyone's on the same page and they understand how this quite unique window system is going to be installed. Yeah, let's have a look upstairs then and see what the guys have already been doing earlier in the week and last week. At the top of the stairs here, in both of the plots, you've got this huge vaulted ceiling, which is the mirror of the curved roof on the outside. It's going to be a really impressive space when it's all finished. You've got this huge window here overlooking the fields. This sort of thing absolutely needs a smart lift to install. There's no way you could lift that up without the mechanical lifting equipment. We've got the full illbruck airtightness system here, which is known as I3. So it's a three-part sealant system. Gets us to passive levels of airtightness so that it's an appropriate seal for the type of window that we're installing. High-performance window needs a high-performance seal. So we've got Ross on the outside there off our tower scaffold, just doing the Compriband external sealant tape. Over here in what's going to be one of the bedrooms, you've got this huge corner window that accommodates the steel post there that's holding up the steel frame above the window. This is going to be a really good feature as well. I can see a little pond over there that we'll have a view of eventually. And again, this huge vaulted ceiling. So here in the ensuite, we've got a frosted glass window. With the Velfac system, you've got a few different choices of the style of glass. This is the most popular one, which is known as satin. It just gives like a frosted, sandblasted effect. Really subtle. It looks a bit like a light box, I think. Actually, it's quite common now that people choose clear glass in bathrooms, particularly when you've got a view or something that you want to capture. This property, for example, is not actually overlooked by any other properties, so it might be a scenario where you want to choose clear glass rather than obscure in bathrooms. So the windows that the clients have chosen here are Velfac top guided windows, so they open from the bottom, and that means that we can often go a lot larger with the window compared to a side hung window. The weight of the sash is spread evenly across the two hinges, which gives us a bit of a bigger size limit. We've also got the standard Velfac night vent facility, so you can close the window with it open about 1 centimetre for background ventilation, particularly in the summer. This property is having an MVHR ventilation system installed, so there's no trickle vents, but ordinarily trickle vents on the top guided windows would be at the head of the window in the frame there. So we've got our vans here today, and I just always really love looking at them because they're such a nice green colour. We're really pleased with how they've turned out with the wraps on them. So this is the second bedroom in the property. Really big windows again here, looking out across the farmland, and lots of light coming in on a day like this. When everything's boarded out and painted, light's going to be bouncing around all over the place and really making it a lovely place to live. So let's have a little walk through then. Another good sized bedroom here with a huge window, views out over the fields. Got a nice old water tower there and the fields. Let's have a little walk round to the second barn.
Okay, you just walk down.
Again, we've got some huge windows here in the living area, and these little punch hole windows that look out to the other barn across the walkway between the two. And again, over this side, another really lovely corner window. So through here we've got the utility room area. Again, nice big glazed door. So we've got here in the utility area a nice big Velfac Ribo glazed door. These are quite a popular option for our customers. Just pretty simply opens. We have to take a consideration of all the floor finishes that are going into a project so that we can make sure that the thresholds are as low as possible but not too low, that the finished floor is going to end up above the level of the threshold. Here we've still got the internal airtightness tape to do on this door, so you can see the foam that we use for insulation around the windows and doors. So Dan's just doing the external compraband seal here between the window and the aluminium pressings. So that's your primary weather seal to stop the worst of the weather getting in. The compraband itself is rated to 600 pascals, so the same as the window. So we're really installing a high performance seal to match the high performance windows. The guys use a pick and a knife just to get it into the opening, get it flat against the window. It's got adhesive on one side so that sticks to the window. And then over the course of probably a couple of hours in this sort of weather, it'll expand to fill the gap between the window and the wall. One of the benefits of using the compraband tape is that it is only stuck to the window, so that means that it can shear during its lifespan, not like silicone, which when the building and the window move relative to each other, it would tend to crack. Compraband retains its flexibility. We'll have a walk around the front of the two barns and look at the front door, the entrance screens that have gone in. So in this barn the entrance screen is still to be fitted, but in the second barn it's already been finished. So on this one here, again like the utility door, the customers opted for fully glazed front entrance doors. And you can see how the Ribo door system couples with the V200 window system. It's a really integrated system, the Velfac product, so that we can join multiple units together and maintain a consistent frame sight line. And the front face of the windows is always flush, regardless of the type of opening that you have or even doors. So on the windows here we've got a number of transoms and mullions in the system, and you can see how the mullions on the first floor window align with the door below. So this is all about the sizing of the individual units, because on the ground floor there are three elements that are coupled together on site, whereas on the first floor it's one complete window. So understanding how the Velfac system works and the thickness of couplings and these connection details is really key to getting a good result. The system is such a simple system aesthetically that it's really important to try and align mullions and transoms. So you can see on the first floor window how we've aligned the transom with the windows either side of it, and as well as the mullions that run up and down vertically. So from this angle we can see the outside of one of the corner windows on the first floor. You can see the timber post there that links the left and the right part of the window together, And at the end of the installation, the guys will put the aluminium pressing on the face of that. That will dress it and match the grey finish all the way around the corner. In the Velfac system, there's lots of additional cladding systems and posts and flashings that we can order that align and create this seamless integrated look with tolerance gaps to match where tolerance gaps lie in the rest of the system. So this little window here is a great example of the tolerance gaps that we use in the Velfac system. It creates a really even and consistent shadow gap detail around the edge of the window. So the seal is back about 40mm from the face of the aluminium cladding to the wood part of the window, which allows the aluminium sash to move and creates this really nice contemporary shadow gap. This barn has got a slightly different detail on the master bedroom, where it's got an inset balcony with another one of the Velfac sliding casement doors there. And on this ground floor opening, you can see how we desashed the side lights of a Velfac sliding casement door and then install them onto the frame once the frame is all plumb and square in the opening. This plot of the two has got this really massive bathroom window that's going to give these amazing views over the fields from the bathroom. So in this opening, you can see how the guys have prepped the opening for the door to be installed. So the first thing that we do is fit the sill pressing down, so we can level the sill pressing, fit it down, countersunk screws. It's all sealed down with a high-tack silicone, and then we come in later and put the door on top of that, and it gives us a really good ground to fit the door and level the door against. So in this opening, the screed has already been poured, so the builder's done a really good job to get the screed height just right versus the opening height, and to provide us with a level concrete base here so that we can install the threshold accurately and precisely without having to introduce too much packing. It's really important with sliding doors that the thresholds are precisely levelled, because later you can get issues with the thresholds flexing. This one of the two barns has got the expansive views right across the fields, and it's going to be really amazing when it's all finished. This is going to be the kitchen area. So you could be sort of sitting here having your breakfast, looking out over the fields, checking what the weather is doing. So over here the guys are pre-drilling for the brackets into the steel frame that surrounds this opening. This is quite a common detail that we've got steel fixings to attach the window or door to. It does require a little bit of planning with the right screws and drill bits and that kind of thing, but it's fairly usual in this sort of build.
Come out.
So over here you can see the contractor's done a really good mock-up of the final cladding system, I guess, so the client can see what it's going to look like. So this really allows us to double check the setbacks of the windows. When we first arrive and start installing, it's really important to set the window in the right position relative to the external facade, and so having something like this is really helpful. Everyone can visualise what it's going to look like in the end and make sure that all our dims are correct. The colour of the windows has been chosen to match the standing seam roof system, so it gives a really integrated feel to the building with the zinc guttering as well. It looks really good, I think. Thanks for watching up to this point. Give us a like and subscribe for more videos. Hopefully more coming along soon with some more projects that we're working on in East Anglia. Looking forward to coming back to this one and seeing it all finished and plastered and that impressive internal ceiling especially.